A note from God. Do not judge. You don't know what storm I've asked her to walk through. Love God. Have you ever wondered why you keep repeating the same old patterns, only to meet the same old obstacles? Did you know your default or natural state of being is benevolence? Welcome to my woo-woo world of love and light. Hi, I'm Charlotte Walter, your host. And this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. What does this song have to do with anything, you might ask? Judgment is a heavy, dark energy when it is being critical of self or another. Standing tall and singing your song of light can be challenging in the presence of judgment. What then are you to do? Or what is the antidote? Well, this is what our discussion is all about today, so stay tuned. Let's first look at what is judgment. First definition, the faculty of being able to make critical distinctions and achieve a balanced viewpoint or discernment. This is the part of judgment that we use day in and day out to navigate life. It's not the destructive energy necessarily we want to talk about today. That's number 2, assessment of a person's worth. A determination of good conveys value, while bad conveys worthless. It is this kind of judgment that we want to address today, and that is the killer of life, joy, and peace. So what price do we pay for critical judgments? All those judgments create an inner irritability, agitation, and frustration, which in turn causes your energy to bounce around, resulting in more inner chaos and confusion or lack of clarity. This judgment energy keeps you stuck in the chaos, doomed to repeating unwanted and counterproductive patterns. It is an energy sucker because you are struggling to maintain inner clarity and to free yourself from those heavy feelings with little success, leaving you exhausted. Any wonder? Now, what is the impact on our lives and others of critical judgments? And children, to begin with, our judgment of others hurts us, pulls our energy down. When we look out into the world and negatively judge others or an event, we are truly hurting ourselves the most. Why? Well, think about how you're feeling when you're in that energy. Do you have feelings of peace, joy, love, abundance, prosperity? Your energy of judgment seldom hurts another very much, but think about what you feel when you're judging or criticizing another. You largely are in a heavier and darker energy, not to mention that energy moves in circles. So watch out when that energy of your judgment comes back at you later. Do you want to be on the receiving end? Well, why do we do it then? Because we think we'll feel superior to those that we are judging or criticizing. Why do we need to do that? Well, the need often comes out of our own fear of our own failings and shortcomings. This is why critical judgment can be a life killer, because it creates self-doubt, fear, and pain. It severely limits us. It's largely what gossip is, finding fault with others so we can feel better because we're not feeling so great about ourselves. All this only matters if you want to walk in self-mastery and wish to lighten up your own signature vibrational frequency, to live more joyously, abundantly, and become a force for good in the world. why judgments of others are projections of ourself. Judgment comes from ego, which is temporary, limited, and shallow, and not friendly, might I add. It's born out of a desire to control us in the world and the world. Ego's not bad in and of itself, merely out of balance. And the worst part is we identify with it, and it is largely judgmental about ourselves, rather than compassionate and accepting of all our being. This is the subconscious we're talking about. It can even sidetrack us when we are unaware of its damage. Most of you have experienced a time when you judged a person or event negatively, only to realize later that because of your negative judgment you missed an opportunity? Well, how did we get into this mess anyway? Ugh, I want out. Well, why do we even have judgments anyway? Because we live in the energy of duality, where we are aware of opposites, up, down, right, wrong, and so forth. It's the fable of the Garden of Eden, or the knowledge of good and evil. We're given free choice to choose which it will be, as we discussed in the previous video, or video 6. Compounding the problem is through collective consciousness conditioning. Many of us have been trained to look for what needs improvement in our lives or the world. This has brought about an imbalance of judgmental energy, which is a heavier and slower energy, as we've said. It's kept us shackled from focusing upon light, love, potential, and abundance. The good news is that your inner landscape or inner being wants to assist you through uniting your inner world. To demonstrate this, have you ever noticed that when you have released some pent-up negative energy, you revert to inner balance and harmony automatically? So there is something we can do about this dilemma. Sensitize yourself to the negative impact it has on you and your life. What goes round comes round. Is that what you want? So set a powerful intention to become aware of or listen to your inner dialogue or self-talk. And you may find it's largely judgmental, to your surprise. This is how the great barriers are constructed, blocking your efforts at creating a fulfilled, fun-filled, and abundant life. Tell the truth to yourself when you're judging others. In other words, just acknowledge it, that's all. No self-flagellation and criticism, just acknowledgement. What you're projecting onto others is a clue as to how you feel about yourself. Allow and accept that you're judging, that's all. Ask yourself, well, where is this coming from? What is my payoff? When you find yourself judging your judgments, it's time to laugh at yourself. You're beginning to catch on, so you can lighten up. That's all there is to do. You may notice as you sit with the energy of critical judgment and just be present with it, it will weaken and even dissolve. As you are more compassionate with yourself, you'll notice you judge the world less and yourself as well, with a beautiful payoff for you. That of moving that blocked energy. And you might ask, well, I'll create it again. Right. But with practice and self-compassion, you will be slowly weakening your propensity to judge self and others. So in summary, as you become sensitized to the destructive energy around critical judgments of self and others, you will naturally become less judgmental and more compassionately tolerant of yourself and the world. Because what we focus upon, we become. So if you focus upon the negative, you amplify it and feel worse and worse. Why would anyone want to do that? So choose again. Now, in closing, on the lighter side, just when you thought you were doing better with this judgment thing, something funny happened. You lost it. Have you ever thought, I'm sorry that I got angry and said a lot of things I meant, but still should not have said? Well, sometimes losing it can be good. Thank you for passing this video on to anyone you think may benefit from these discussions. And so it is.